Report Lima TAC 273542. Therianthropes. Reporting Officer Supervisor Caston, Baltimore Recording Construct. The following report is classified level Omicron. Any clearance levels under Omicron will trigger memetic agents by the end of this sentence. Alright, now that is done, we can continue. Glad to see you are still alive, field agents. This month's dead drop is an important aspect of making sure you stay that way. We covered blood deviants last month, and this month we're going to talk about shifter deviants, more appropriately known as therianthropes. Therian is derived from the term for placental mammal, and thrope from the Greek word for transform. They are beings which have the ability to shift between animal and human form, along with a variety of hybrid forms which exist in a state in between human and animal. They are devastating opponents and some of the deadliest targets you may ever encounter. The first thing that we should mention straight away is that therianthropes come in a variety of forms. Each of them seems able to shift only to one specific animal form, but there are therianthropes that can shift into a lupine form, an ursine form, a feline form, even therianthropes that can transform into sharks. They seem to exist across the animal kingdom, but it has been confirmed through field observation that only one type of therianthrope, the lupines, exists in any meaningful numbers. Captured subjects have revealed under interrogation that therianthropes exist on the verge of extinction, and that the lupines, for whatever reason, engaged in a genocide long ago that nearly wiped out the other breeds. This means that the lupines will be the focus of this report. We will discuss the other breeds in future reports, but your likelihood of encountering one in the field is so low that it has been deemed a priority for you to understand the so-called werewolves first. It is important to note, while lupines are by far the most numerous breed of therianthrope, they are still quite rare. We have been able to confirm, through laboratory experimentation, that the ability to shift one's form is hereditary, passed down within a subject's genetics. However, it seems that this gene is quite rare and always recessive, meaning that the child of a therianthrope is not necessarily going to be born one themselves. Nonetheless, even those without the ability to shift their form will carry the gene, meaning that those we have confirmed to carry the trait must have their lineages monitored in case of future outbreak of therianthropes in the populace. We don't want all of our hard work coming undone in a few centuries just because the human species continued to reproduce. It is important to note, there is some evidence to suggest therianthropes can be born of animals as well as humans. A lupine therianthrope born of a grey wolf, for example. This has not yet been confirmed, but if it is, this fact would necessitate surveillance of the entire animal kingdom. The therianthrope condition is a deviation from standard reality, despite its genetic component, and this has been confirmed in a variety of laboratory tests and across field observations on several continents. Lupine therianthropes are able to access the interdimensional space, possessing some kind of latent talent that allows them to slip through the barrier between worlds. They have been observed interacting with J-Mards and pan-dimensional entities. Indeed, many of these PDEs seem to favor or seek out the therianthropes. The exact cause and nature of this ability is unknown, but we have confirmed that the lupines have a tougher time slipping through the interdimensional barrier when around our technology. This means that reality anchors are an effective means of combating them. Therianthropes have also been shown to have a preternatural ability to heal, able to erase even the most grievous wounds in a matter of moments. Lupines have been shown through laboratory experimentation and field observation to be able to regrow lost limbs, heal burns, reverse the effects of radiation, and heal other enormous physical trauma like bullet wounds from high-caliber rounds. They can survive without food and water for double the amount of time of a normal human being, and they have been shown to contain twice as much blood, though This seems to be from the Lupine's ability to reproduce the blood as quickly as it is lost, and not through a greater amount of the fluid than normal humans. The nature of this incredible healing is unknown, but it has been theorized to have an interdimensional origin. Studies are ongoing by the progenitors to see if there is a way to utilize this trait within the pharmaceutical industry. It is hypothesized that lupines can live in excess of 200 years, and if this is true, then finding a means to extract the medicinal properties from these therianthropes could prove a true boon to medical science. Lupines, on top of their incredible ability to heal, also showcase other extreme physical characteristics. They are stronger than normal humans, with their so-called war form able to tear through steel and reactive armor like butter. They exhibit reflexes far beyond human capability, and have been known to collapse into frenzies of bestial ferocity that make them nigh unstoppable. The lupine warform has been clocked at highway speeds while sprinting in laboratory settings, and they have been confirmed to have a bite force of 5,000 psi, 25% more than the saltwater crocodile, the animal kingdom's naturally strongest bite. They have increased senses, with some tests showing this ability translates even to their human form, able to smell and hear things far in excess of a normal human range. They're able to see in darkness, much like a wolf, and I feel it is important to note that these abilities pair with their talent for slipping between the interdimensional barrier, meaning that an attack by a lupine can come almost anywhere at any time. Feeling scared shitless, agents? Good. You should be scared. Lupines are so incredibly ferocious and hard to kill that even the blood deviants are terrified of them. A lone human being does not stand much chance. In fact, some calculations on the odds of survival for a lone human against a lone lupine are in excess of those for winning the state lottery. With that said, they do have weaknesses. They will die if you can remove their head, though this is a task that is nigh impossible. They're also susceptible to drowning, though we have confirmed in the laboratory that it takes twice as long for a lupine to drown when compared to a regular human. Additionally, while lupines can heal from things such as radiation and fire, this healing cannot take place until after the trauma is inflicted, meaning that trapping a lupine in a radiation or a flame-filled area for an extended period of time can kill one. But again, this is much easier said than done. It takes careful planning and advanced setup to lure a lupine into an area which can actually contain it. Devices which can immediately incinerate or atomize a lupine are also effective. Things like rocket launchers, mortars, helicopters, and mobile armored units. All things well above your pay grade. It is recommended that field agents disengage and call for backup when dealing with therianthropes. But if you do encounter lupines, the most effective way to kill one is silver. That is right, silver. Straight from the old stories. We have been unable to confirm why this is, but all lupines suffer a serious, violent allergic reaction to silver. It completely negates their vaunted healing factor, meaning silver swords, bullets, and otherwise will injure them as if they are a normal human being. We have confirmed in laboratory settings that wounds inflicted by silver on lupines can cause long-lasting injury that can take months to heal, if it ever fully does. Select hunter-killer teams have been outfitted with the appropriate weaponry to engage lupines, and again, it is suggested that if you encounter one, you fall back and call for reinforcements. There is one more facet of therianthropes that must be discussed before we can dive into the specific intelligence we have on them. That is a condition which we have dubbed the delirium. The delirium is induced in normal humans, as well as Union personnel still within their old life. This state causes a person to collapse into a full flight response without fail. Persons who view a lupine in their war form cannot control this response and will flee as far as possible. If there is no way to flee, they will collapse into a gibbering mass of tears and chimp-like hoots of fear. This experience is so traumatic that subjects that experience it immediately repress the memory of the event. This repression has been confirmed in laboratory settings to be so deep that only one-on-one level 4 hypnotic regression is capable of bringing it back out. It's worth noting that other deviants, such as the blood deviants, do not suffer this effect, and personnel who have undergone an epiphany are likewise immune to its effects. The reason for this is unknown, but the delirium is hypothesized to be the result of genetic memory. Some personnel within the Union have theorized that the Lupines once hunted our species actively, to such an extent that we evolved an instinctive response to their presence. This has yet to be confirmed by the Archaeological Division, yet a better explanation remains forthcoming. The delirium is so potent that it even applies to digitally recorded images of a therianthrope, with normal humans viewing footage of a lupine as bad CGI or some other form of hoax. It is one of the most potent mental influences we have yet discovered in the preternatural world, and research is ongoing on a means to counter it. Everything covered thus far can be said to apply to therianthropes in general, save for the lupine's silver allergy. We have been able to confirm in laboratory tests that alternative species of therianthrope exhibit allergic reactions to different substances, but we will cover that in a future report. It's currently time that we discuss the lupines specifically. I've mentioned their war form and human form several times. The truth is that lupines have 5 confirmed forms, including their human one. We have been able to determine that these 5 forms are immutable through laboratory testing. There are no lupines with 7 forms and none with 4. We have been able to determine the names of these forms through interrogation, and they are dubbed the Homid, the Glabro, the Hispos, the Lupus, and the Krinos by the lupines themselves. We have dubbed them the human form, the wolfman form, the direwolf form, the wolf form, and the war form, respectively. A lupine's Homid form is human in almost all respects, save for their ability to heal from any wound or sickness. We have also noticed that some individuals will exhibit slightly more body hair than their peers, but this does not seem to be a ubiquitous trait. We also have some conflicting data to suggest that they retain enhanced senses while in Homid form, and we have been able to confirm that they can breach the dimensional barrier even while in this skin. This seems to be the so-called natural form of human-born lupines. The lupus form is, for all intents and purposes, a common wolf. They come in a variety of shapes and sizes, as do natural wolves, and they exhibit all of the characteristics of natural wolves, save for their extreme healing ability, which is obviously preternatural. Some individuals have also been shown in captivity to be able to speak in human languages while in their lupus form. Like all lupine forms, lupus can pierce the dimensional barrier, and it is the so-called natural form of the hypothesized wolf-born therianthropes. Glabro is a fusion wolf and man, a hellish abomination that exhibits both lupine and human traits. It is hominid in stature, though usually taller on average and much bulkier. Their body is covered in thick fur, and their faces twist, much like the depiction of the classical Wolfman in the Lon Chaney Jr. movie. This form does not seem to cause the delirium in normal humans despite its horrific visage. Hispos is essentially the form of an extinct direwolf, a massive, horse-sized wolf that is otherwise remarkably similar to our own natural modern-day wolves. They are extremely fast and ferocious, and like the Glabro, this form does not seem to incite delirium in humans. The final form, and the one you need to be most concerned about, is the Krinos. This is a lupine's war form, a towering 8 to 10 foot tall monster, wider than a bus, stacked with corded muscles as thick as steel cables, hands tipped in foot-long claws, capable of turning steel into confetti. This is the form that incites delirium, and yet cultural memory of encounters with lupines in their Krynos has led to this becoming their main depiction in pop culture, a two-legged abomination that bears little resemblance to the human they once were. Lupines call themselves Garou, similar to the French loup garou, though any entomological connection between the words has yet to be confirmed. Garou have existed for millennia, with evidence of their activity found going back to at least pre-dynastic Egypt. They have often existed on the fringes of our culture, their tendency to fall into animalistic frenzies of rage necessitating their removal from large cities. Indeed, lupines as a whole seem to avoid civilization, preferring instead to seek out the far-flung, remote areas of the world far away from normal humans. This is a blessing in many ways, as it makes dealing with a discovered pack far easier. However, it also makes it far more difficult for us to locate and engage them to begin with the victories we have won only coming after years of intelligence work, followed by hard-fought, bloody battles. Lupines generally live within a shamanistic, tribal culture, though whether this is by choice or a result of existing so far from civilized settled life is unknown. Lupines are, at the least, part human. However, this means that many of these so-called tribes retain cultural elements that are drawn from their parent societies. Each tribe seems to control its own ancestral lands, even if many of them in the present day have spread and are active worldwide. Each of them seems to have their own common characteristics that separate them from other Garou, though most of these characteristics seem to be cultural in origin. There are 13 of these tribes confirmed, though more minor tribes or tribes now extinct cannot be ruled out. Each of them has their own full report, which you will receive at a later date. For now, we will cover the basics, so that you as field agents will be prepared to identify and deal with these beings should you be unlucky enough to encounter one. The first tribe that we will discuss is also the one that we have been able to gather the most intelligence on. This tribe is known as the Glasswalkers, and unlike other Garou, they are urban creatures. Indeed, where the other tribes tend to avoid cities like the plague, Glasswalkers flock to them. This has, of course, made them far easier for our hunter-killer teams to deal with. The Glasswalkers as a whole seem to exhibit a predisposition towards technology. Indeed, they seem to be able to utilize their interdimensional powers to somehow affect most types of technology that we have, traveling through electrical wires or even somehow causing mechanical failure in firearms. They seem to be favored by the PDE codenamed Weaver, and we have confirmed through interrogation that the tribe considers a being they call Cockroach to be their direct tribal patron. Glasswalkers tend to get along better with normal humans than other Garou, and the Archaeological Division has discovered some evidence to suggest this tribe was once called Warders of Apes, strange name, for their tendency to defend human settlements from the predation of their brethren. Indeed, there have been recorded instances where Glasswalkers have actually aided our hunter-killer teams against blood deviants. While it is commendable that these beasts sometimes attempt to preserve human life, I believe the term ape, when referencing humanity, is enough to underline how most Garou view Homo sapiens. The Glasswalkers seem to be most prevalent in Western nations, scattered through Europe and North America. The second tribe we have been able to identify is another urban one, though in many ways the polar opposite to the tech-savvy Glasswalkers. If the Glasswalkers represent Silicon Valley, the Bone Gnawers represent downtown Baltimore. They are the Garou that were raised amid the blasted, barren landscape of urban poverty, many of them stuck in cities simply because they were raised on the streets. They are unrefined, where the Glasswalkers can sometimes exhibit class. Interrogations with captured subjects seem to suggest they are even proud of their so-called lowbrow status. They claim patronage from a PDE they have dubbed Rat, and we have confirmed through experimentation that bone gnawers are capable of consuming large quantities of trash without ill effect, including plastic, cardboard, and even rusted stainless steel. The nature of this ability remains unknown to us, but it is hypothesized to have an interdimensional source, as is the case with many of the Lupine's strange powers. We have received scattered reports of cannibalism within the Bone Gnawer tribe. Indeed, this may be where the group takes its name, with some captured individuals claiming a taste for human flesh that drives them to hunt normal people in the urban jungle. However, other Bone Gnawers have professed an ardent taboo against the eating of flesh that cuts across all the Garou tribes. Efforts are ongoing to confirm or deny these reports. The Bone Gnawers will become a priority target for HK teams should the rumors of cannibalism turn out to be true. Presence of the Bone Gnawers has been confirmed in poverty-stricken urban areas the world over. The Bone Gnawers and the Glasswalkers are the tribes that we know the most about, and again, you will receive their individual reports at some time in the future. Their close proximity to urban environments has made them easier to catch and study. This is not to say that we do not have intelligence on the other tribes, however, and the third that we will cover in this report are known as the Black Furies. The Black Furies seem to be concentrated in Greece and Turkey, with the main thrust of their current operations focused in the Middle East, though interrogation has revealed a presence worldwide. The Black Furies are almost exclusively women, with the only males observed within their ranks confirmed to be afflicted by a variety of deformities. Indeed, the Archaeological Division has even suggested the notion that the Black Furies inspired legends of the Amazons, warrior women of the ancient world. The Furies fight for women's rights and are currently focused on destabilizing the governments in the Middle East because of their general, systematic oppression of women. They have a reputation for ferocity even among the other tribes, and they tend to have coats of fur that are as black as the night. They claim patronage from a pan-dimensional entity that was codenamed Pegasus. Furies outside of the Middle East are known for hunting down criminals, especially for serious cases of murder or sexual assault. In ancient Greece, there were 3 goddesses of vengeance that were dubbed the Furies, and there is some evidence to suggest a connection between these myths and this tribe of Garou. The 4th tribe that we will cover has been dubbed the Children of Gaia. These Garou have exhibited less of the outbursts of rage that make other Lupines so dangerous, and indeed, they seem to have a predisposition towards being peacekeepers among their kind. Interrogated subjects have professed a desire for unity among the Garou, erasing the lines between the tribes and establishing what they call a strong Garou nation. Many of them have even exhibited an adherence to pacifistic philosophies which seem counter to their inborn nature. Despite this peaceful veneer, however, Children of Gaia are still extremely dangerous. As you should realize by this point of the report, our only true advantages against the therianthropes are their lack of numbers and their general disunity. A, quote, strong, unified Garou nation cannot be allowed to ever come to exist. It would prove nigh impossible for us to root these creatures out if such an organization was ever to cement true power. There is some evidence to suggest that the Garou tribes already adhere to a loose governmental structure that does cut across tribal boundaries. However, all of our intelligence suggests that this nation is currently weak, disorganized, with the tribes often at odds with one another. This must remain the status quo. Any Children of Gaia that you encounter in the field are to be slotted for immediate termination. The Children of Gaia claim the patronage of a being they call Unicorn, and interrogated individuals have claimed that it is this unicorn that pushes the Children of Gaia towards peace. It is worth noting that this unicorn is likely an expression of the PDE codenamed Gaia, and this is likely the source of the tribe's name. Many captured subjects have professed a reverence for Gaia that even seems to supersede their reverence for Unicorn. The children of Gaia can be found worldwide, usually living amongst the other tribes where they can fulfill their self-appointed functions as mediators. The fifth tribe that we will discuss today has been dubbed the Fianna, after the Irish legends of the same name. There is, again, some evidence to suggest that this tribe may have inspired some of those ancient myths. The Fianna are scattered across Celtic Europe, but their numbers are the strongest within Ireland. They are passionate, and interrogated subjects have professed a love of storytelling. They seem to maintain a culture similar to the boasting warrior culture of pre-Christian Nordic countries, living loud, bawdy lives centered around exhibitions of prowess in battle. We have discovered ties between the Fianna and the so-called Tinkerbell entities, the strange, interdimensional creatures that we have stumbled across in recent years. Indeed, many interrogated Fianna subjects have claimed that the tribe can trace its lineage directly back to Danu, a being mentioned in Irish mythology as the mother of the Tuatha De Danann, a race of godlike beings which were worshipped throughout Celtic Ireland. This has not been confirmed, but field agents are advised to prepare for contact with potential TBEs if you encounter a Fianna in the wild. This tribe claims to be patronized by a PDE going by the moniker of Stag. The Fianna are not the only Celtic tribe, however. Another tribe hails from Scandinavia, dubbed the Get of Fenris. This tribe has a deep Nordic Viking culture, and as suggested by their name, they claim the mythical Fenris as their patron. The Archaeological Division has uncovered evidence that the infamous Viking berserkers may have been inspired by the Get of Fenris. Indeed, some of our archaeologists have even put forth the notion that the Get were these berserkers directly. The Get of Fenris have a fierce, honor-based system that is reminiscent of Old Norse ways, with many interrogated sessions with captured subjects playing out like a reading of passages of Beowulf. They also seem to be more subject to bursts of rage than their cousins. The exact cause of this hair trigger is unknown, but it may simply be a cultural predisposition towards conflict. We have gathered evidence to suggest that the Get recently went through some kind of civil war. We have managed to confirm that they were supporters of the Nazis during World War II, and yet individuals captured in the modern day have spat on the memory of such times. They claim that they have purged their tribe of this dishonor through fire and blood. The Get are consummate warriors, and I can assure you, a warrior culture married to the capabilities of a Lupine is a truly existential threat to the Union. They are given priority target status if ever encountered in the field. Field agents that do encounter one are expected to immediately notify local HK teams. The Get, in the modern day, is most active in Norway and Sweden, but we have confirmed populations in Germany, the United States, and other countries in the Western world. The Shadow Lords are the seventh tribe that we will cover today. They hail from the Eurasian steppe, and they still maintain their highest population concentration in those areas. Sadly, we know little about the Shadow Lords. Captured individuals have proven highly resistant to interrogation. We have been able to discern that they claim to be the viziers of the Garou nation, but beyond that, most of our data has been gathered through field observation. Most confirmed Shadow Lords seem to act as politicians or figures of import in their local communities. They have a tendency to make themselves vital to those around them, without exerting too much overt power themselves. It is hypothesized by our therianthropologists that this is a survival strategy designed to help the tribe cope with existing alongside human society, and if this is true, it must be admitted that it has been highly effective. Identified Shadow Lords have proven extremely difficult to eliminate without any spillover ramifications, some of which could destabilize vital regions in Eastern Europe. Agents are advised to avoid direct confrontations with the Shadow Lords for now. Shadow Lords have claimed patronage of a PDE that they dubbed Grandfather Thunder. We have managed to gather some evidence to suggest that there's a connection between this Grandfather Thunder and some mythological beings from the North American continent, but we will discuss that more later in this report. The 8th tribe that we will mention is known as the Silent Striders. The Striders are one of the Garou tribes with the lowest population, and they live a nomadic lifestyle, found the world over in all nations. However, captured individuals claim a deep connection to the culture and religion of ancient Egypt. Interrogation has revealed reports of some kind of banishment from their ancestral homeland. While this accounts for their wide distribution across the globe, we have been unable to confirm the source of the banishment. Many captured individuals talk about a curse, but it is likely this is only mythology that has sprung up as a result of maintaining an oral history. The Silent Striders as a whole have a deep reverence for the dead, and they have been confirmed to deal directly with J-Mards on both sides of the dimensional barrier. The widespread travel that most Striders seem to partake in has made them adept information brokers within Garou culture. They keep disparate Lupine groups informed of what is going on in the wider world, and as such, they provide a vital service to the tribes. Silent Striders are a high-priority target for capture, as their status as information brokers makes them treasure troves when under interrogation. Agents are required to be able to identify Silent Striders so they can inform HK teams prior to deployment. The Striders claim the patronage of a PDE they dub Owl. The Stargazers are a tribe which hails from Central and East Asia. They are unique among Garou tribes in that Stargazers often live solitary lives rather than grouping together into a pack. Indeed, they are in many ways the reverse of other Garou. Stargazers spend much of their lives in deep meditation, practicing martial arts, and developing methods of anger management that have been observed to prove effective against the Lupine's vaunted temper problems. Many Stargazers encountered in the field were not overtly hostile. It should be noted, however, that a Stargazer provoked into violence can be a truly devastating opponent, as they marry the raw power of the Lupine form with the skill and discipline of lifelong martial artists. Indeed, it has been shown in laboratory settings that Stargazers are capable of such mental discipline that they can even control their shifting ability to a degree. While other therianthropes are bound by their pre-decided forms, Stargazers have shown the ability to shrink or grow their size, stretch their limbs to great length, and other similar feats, almost as if their bodies were made of rubber. Captured subjects have revealed that this art is known as Kailindo among the Stargazers, and it's a type of specific martial art that was developed specifically for use by Lupines. Research is ongoing to determine if this practice can somehow be co-opted for use by our forces. Stargazers claim the patronage of a PDE known as Chimera. It should also be noted that many interrogated Stargazers have professed an allegiance to an organization known as the Beast Courts, which we will cover in a future report. The 10th tribe have dubbed themselves the Silver Fangs. This group hails mostly from Eastern Europe and Asia, particularly from Russia and the old satellite states of the former USSR. The Silver Fangs exhibit traits of courage, honor, and they profess an ardent love for battle. It has been confirmed that the tribe holds these traits in such high esteem that they have been enshrined in tribal law, with Silver Fangs expected to set the example for their fellow Garou. Many captured individuals from across all tribes have revealed under interrogation that the Silver Fangs consider themselves the true rulers of the Garou nation, despite the fact that this idea has apparent mixed reception among their fellows. Many Silver Fangs have shock white hair, which makes them stand out in a crowd when compared to their fellow Garou. Unfortunately for the Fangs, this belief in their own royalty has led to a massive amount of inbreeding over the centuries, and we have been able to confirm in laboratory settings that this has resulted in a predisposition towards mental illness, even if their bodies maintain the perfect condition of other Garou. Captured Silverfang individuals have been confirmed to exhibit symptoms of paranoid schizophrenia, manic depression, bipolar disorder, and more. This predisposition is something that the Silverfangs seem quite keen to ignore, and indeed captured subjects have all been provoked to frenzied rage whenever the matter is broached. The Silverfangs claim patronage from a PDE that they dub Falcon. The Red Talons are the tribe that, besides the Shadow Lords, we know the least about. We have been able to confirm through the interrogation of individuals from other tribes that a group known as the Red Talons does indeed exist. However, those same individuals have claimed that the Talons so abhor humanity and what civilization represents that they will never come into contact with it, dwelling far, far away from society in the few remaining wild places of the earth. It has been suggested during interrogation of individuals from other tribes that the Red Talons are composed completely of Garou born of natural wolves. This information, currently, is just hearsay, and we have been unable to confirm it through observation or experimentation. However, the potential implications of this idea, as mentioned earlier, are quite troubling. It would prove exceedingly difficult to eliminate the therianthrope gene if we have to try to do so from the entire web of life. Priority has been placed on intelligence gathering efforts in regards to Red Talons. Any agents stationed in rural or wild areas are advised that seeking out and learning more about the Talons remains a standing order until notified otherwise. Capture of Red Talon individuals is given a priority, with lethal methods forbidden from use unless absolutely necessary. We must learn more about this tribe if we can hope to combat them effectively. Captured individuals of other tribes have made the claim that Red Talons once sought, or are currently seeking, the genocide of the entire human race, meaning that this, again, stands as a priority order for all field agents. The 12th tribe that we will discuss today are known as the Wendigo, and there is some evidence to suggest that they may have inspired tales of the demon that bears that same name. They seem to have been most prevalent among the North American tribes that were spread across the northern part of the continent. We have been able to identify Wendigo claiming descent from the Iroquois, the Inuit, and the Mohican. It should be noted, the genocide that affected the Native American population also affected the Wendigo, meaning that their numbers are among the lowest of all the Garou tribes. Indeed, captured Wendigo individuals have revealed a deep hatred for non-Native American individuals during interrogation, with many of them seeing the genocide of the natives as a wrong that still requires redress. We have confirmed the presence of Wendigo in eco-terrorism and protest events across Canada and the United States. The Wendigo have a reputation for ferocity even among the other tribes, something that all field agents should keep in mind just in case they meet. We have also been able to confirm in laboratory settings that they exhibit interdimensional powers capable of lowering the surrounding ambient temperature. The Wendigo tribe claims patronage from a PDE that bears the same name, Wendigo. The 13th and final tribe that we will discuss today are known as the Uktena. They hail, like the Wendigo, from Native American populations in North America, though the Uktena seem to have spread across the southern half of the continent. They have the highest population density among the Cherokee, but we have confirmed Uktena belonging to tribes as far west as the Apache. Uktena have a dark reputation among the other tribes. They are not nearly as ferocious as their Wendigo brethren, and yet individuals from other tribes have revealed during interrogation that Uktena are rumored to make use of the PDE that we have codenamed Worm. This seems to be an enormous taboo among the therianthropes in general, but captured Uktena individuals have revealed during interrogation that they do not serve the worm. Instead, they seek to turn the worm's own energies against it, using darkness to fight darkness. Many Uktena seem to fulfill a shamanic role within their pack, and we have confirmed that they have the ability to bind Jmards into inanimate objects to create items that deviate in a major way from baseline reality. The Uktena also suffered from the genocide of the Indian Wars, and their population is extremely low in the modern day. Despite this, many Uktena continue to champion and maintain the culture of their respective native tribes, and unlike the Wendigo, the Uktena accept outsiders who are willing to adopt their way of life. The Uktena claim the patronage of a being of the same name, Uktena. This is a figure from Cherokee mythology, a great horned serpent that can command thunder and lightning. There is some evidence to suggest that this being may be connected to, or indeed it could even directly be, the same being as Grandfather Thunder, the so-called totem revered by the Shadow Lords. Interdimensional investigation is still ongoing. That will bring us to the close of this report, agents. You should now understand the very basics of therianthrope, and particularly lupine, behavior and physiology. You should be able to identify them, and, if push comes to shove, fight them. It should be noted, however, that this report is meant only to prepare you to identify therianthropes and combat them in an emergency. I must emphasize again, standard field agents are ordered not to engage unless absolutely necessary. Any contact with therianthropes should be reported up the chain of command to local HK teams via your direct superior. If you do have to engage a therianthrope directly, either because of the expediency of the situation you find yourself in, or some other quirk of Murphy's Law, well, then good luck. Hopefully this report will keep you alive, but I won't be betting on you, that's for sure. We're going to delve deeper into the specifics of the lupines and other therianthropes in future reports. But for now, try to digest this information, keep an eye on your dead drops, and try to stay safe out there, agents. Supervisor Caston, signing off.